Just keep it. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the June meeting of the Houston chapter of the Electric Vehicle Association. Welcome to everybody in the room and online on the Zoom connection. So tonight we're going to have Brandon Watt talk about some EV education, and then we'll have a couple of guys here in the room talk about the Aptera vehicle developments. But first, let's go through our set of slides that talk about the chapter. I will walk to the center of the room here. So already we're talking about the lunch that this month we've scheduled for June 26th. That's a Friday. Usually we start at 11:30 and we'll do that. This time it's at Chewy's, which is on the Gulf Freeway south of central Houston. And we call it the JSC, Johnson Space Center Electric Vehicle Enthusiast Club. So that's why you see the letters JEVEC up at the top. So code there. It's, of course, a nested acronym. You got to have that. So the J stands for another acronym, JSC. So everyone's welcome. We know that it's a drive for some people. It's kind of intended for people on the south side of town, but by all means, anyone who can hear the sound of my voice, please show up. Perfect, Frank. Yeah, come on over. This time it's at Chewy's. Usually we rotate between Chewy's and King's right at the League City Dickinson line and at Red River Barbecue, which is kind of in central old League City. So we do that. Everyone's welcome. So next slide. And then we have batteries and brews. So this time we're doing that way up north. So this is a new location for that. It'll be on June 28th, starting at 1 p.m. And it's at the Shop Club. That sounds like a very generic name, but the vehicles they have there are anything but generic. So it's mostly privately owned vehicles, and there's a lot of exotics. You might see a few Ferraris and such in that photo there. So it's up at 13150 Brenton Ridge Street, way up north in Houston. So everyone's welcome to go on up there. You don't have to be a club member or even a member of this EVA chapter.
Yeah, they have this is a private garage, and they have a barber shop, a bar, a cigar room. I mean, it is social life for men with cars,
So
basically.
not to mention a place where you can actually work on the car if you want to change your
It has a
oil or
lift. They have a
something.
lift. They have tools. Yeah, they've got it's a pretty interesting place. But the cars you're going to see there are pretty cool.
Yeah. In fact, I may ask when we're up there, what percentage of owners change their own oil versus having somebody else do it for them? But just looking at the caliber of cars, because it costs a pretty penny, the way I understand it, to belong to that club. But they've invited us to come up. So, and of course, we'd love to have you join the National EVA. You can see on the slide there some benefits, and there's a slight charge for that. Yes, Kevin. It's on Friday. And that's not a 26th of June. Okay. Because generally we do it on Fridays. Sometimes it's the Friday after the second Thursday, but depending on when Emma and I, we just talk about schedules and we pick a Friday usually. This time it's not Friday the 26th. Thank you. No, that's good to clarify. It'll be at Chewy's, just off the Gulf Freeway. Yeah. So as I've mentioned other months, there's no cost to belong to our chapter, no obligation to join the national group, but we do appreciate it because they do a lot of things on the national scale. And in fact, they just put out some priorities and things, and they brought up the fact that our Congress in Washington, D.C. is threatening to put a $130 a year charge on EVs to make up for no gasoline taxes. In addition to the Texas tax that was added by our Texas legislature. Yeah. So our national group gets involved in things like that. And of course, we encourage all of our members to write to their folks in Congress
or go to the Facebook page and click 4 times and you're done.
Oh, well, that's even better.
It's all there.
So I like the wording that the national group put out, and that is, our members believe that a fair tax to make up for no gasoline tax is good, but they do not like punitive taxes, which, of course, when you look at the level of it, what's being proposed in Washington could be considered punitive. So anyways, and they have some other good statements about what they support, all brands of EVs and things like that. So joining National is, I believe, it well worth the small annual cost. Some EV literature here in the room. Sorry, folks on Zoom, you can't grab the paper, but we do have some paper. So you can take those to families and friends. And okay, I see some comments here by Seth.
Sorry, that was
Okay. Now the far door is, yeah, the one to come in. And so we'll see you next month too, I hope. Yeah. That I know it's kind of difficult which driveway to enter so you don't end up at the Tower store or at the Center Point repair facility. I know. But considering that we are given this space to use once a month for free, free is good, yes. And other months we've been recently meeting at Rice and we'll let you know. So I just mentioned that. So every month checking the location is kind of important. So we're set on the second Thursday, but location does change from time to time. But the students aren't in school in the summer, so we're back here right now. We'll see if we're at Rice again in the fall. And some opportunities you can see up there. It's always nice to get together with folks. You see car club outings. Of course, when we do the batteries and brews, like I mentioned, this first time will be at Shop Club, but we get to talk cars with people. People could see what car you drove up there. It's always nice to see John Atwood's truck that he's gotten running now as a conversion. And I love the fact that he took the exhaust pipe and made that the location of the charge port. So he had his truck up when we were doing the Deem Drive Electric Earth Month event in April up on Discovery Green. And that was a big hit. Everybody liked looking at his pickup truck. So I was really glad that he had that available to bring up. And so thanks to everybody who brought up and talked to the public in April. So Facebook, we love having folks get onto Facebook, and here it does mention that $130 EV fee that the federal Congress is proposing and I guess debating right now, maybe.
Yeah, Facebook is really the only way we can stay in touch with people. So if you want to find out where an event is or when it is, it's in Facebook. I'm sorry. It's
Yep.
also on Meetup, but
Mhm.
Facebook comes first. Sorry to say.
Yeah. And then our April event is on the Drive Electric Earth Month page. And that's also good because you can find other sites to go and participate.
Yeah, and you can connect to those through Facebook. Yeah.
Mhm. So one thing I'll mention to folks, we unfortunately recently heard that we can't do Wings and Wheels at the 1940 Air Terminal Museum because they have closed down. So we'll see if the National Historic Group can revive that building and maybe even do some more fix up because it did need some more maintenance on getting walls plastered and things like that before. But the volunteer group there just couldn't, even though nobody got paid, they actually just had to pay for the building and utilities and such, and what they got in just didn't cover it anymore. So we can't do Wings and Wheels there, but we've done that a couple of times and had a good time doing that. So we'll see what happens in the future there. And so you can always go to houstontxeva.org and see things there. But as Colin said, Facebook is really good. And then YouTube is where the videos from meetings like this get posted. So Colin does his magic and it gets posted up there and folks can review a meeting if they couldn't catch it in person. Speaking of which, thank you, Kevin, for running the meeting last month since I couldn't come in person last month, just the schedule. And so that is appreciated. So that takes care of the slides. All right, Colin. All right. So, Brandon, if you're ready, we will.
Are you sure I can share it?
Yes, please
All
share.
right, awesome.
So, Brandon Watt is the marketing director at Switch Vehicles, which creates hands on electric vehicle education programs that inspire students, empower teachers, and prepare for the next generation of technical problem solvers. I love that. So, take it away, Brandon.
Awesome. Thank you so much to Colin and everyone at Houston, EA. Um, I'm really passionate about engaging the community, especially the electric vehicle community, or CTE or STEM community in education. So I joined Switch Vehicles in 2023. I've helped develop the workshops. I've helped make the marketing lingo as attractive as possible for teachers and educators. But I really believe in the value of hands-on project-based learning, where students don't just learn about something, they get to build it, diagnose it, troubleshoot it, and test it. And so at Switch, oh, oh, our impact in Texas isn't as large as I would like it to be, actually. It's not a negative thing about what we're doing in Texas. It's more, how can we get into more school districts in Texas? How can we impact more students in Texas? Our first adoption was in August of 2022. As you can see on the left of the slide, we're in a lot of districts. It's typically only one high school or one community college campus. Austin Community College just went all in with us. They're about to receive 2 full electric vehicle pathways at their campus. And so we're looking for ways to educate and inform and connect with the communities in Texas to see, what do these auto dealerships need? What do these mechanic shops need? What do all these factories coming? You guys have the Gigafactory from Tesla in your state. And so we're looking for new avenues to find a way into the door to just be able to give our pitch. We obviously understand that not everyone would need our project. It does take a lot of room at a school. It is very complex. It is a process where we require a 5-day workshop to understand and learn how to implement this. But as you can see, we have 10 lithium vehicles in the state. They're lithium iron phosphate vehicles. And then we have 3 lead acid vehicles, which are like the lower end. The lead acid vehicles, I would say, are the most approachable and easy to implement because it's a DC motor, so direct current. You don't have a lot of extra programming and software with it. And through my research this week, because Colin made me do some extra work, uh, we've realized that there has been a huge growth. We've seen this in the past, but we haven't gotten a lot of I guess interest. But seeing the numbers this week for myself, in the marketing community in the community department, we see that growth in Texas is huge with these factories coming in. We also know that the SpaceX is doing solar, and they're going to be adding solar factories in Texas. And so even if we're not providing a vehicle or a CTE kind of education, the students who go through our program understand electrical work, high voltage, low voltage, how a circuit works, how to crimp and properly terminate wires. And so we really think there's a big opportunity for schools to fill this gap and provide students with really high paying jobs. What I've learned from teachers and educators across Texas is that students and parents don't realize, I would say, the financial opportunities available to their kids. These kind of jobs really open the door for a student to put their skills to work and then get appropriately financially compensated for that work. And so we've been tracking this. I know we've had an eye on Texas. Texas has been one of our slower adopters for electric vehicles. I wouldn't say it's a negative. I would just say that a lot of OEMs believe that students will leave high school and go to the Tesla Start program. They'll go to the Toyota PACE program, the Honda program, but giving those students the opportunity to actually work on a vehicle before they get there, I believe is hugely beneficial. Putting that on a resume, you get to build an electric vehicle, I think would be really beneficial. I'm guessing Jack, if he's still in the meeting. Jack, are you here?
Hey, Brandon, I'm here.
Awesome. How do you feel about the automotive electrical industry? I want to give you an opportunity to speak about it. Jack is with Toolkit Technologies. They're our representative in Texas, and they provide the highest standard of customer support, customer communications, and they really are pushing our products into these schools and districts. And so, Jack, I kind of want to give you an opportunity here to like kind of talk about what you've seen in the last 3 to 5 years, in Texas.
Absolutely. Thanks, Brandon. What I will say, first to start off, thanks for having me here at the meeting, guys. I am by no means an expert, but I do get the unique opportunity to visit plenty and plenty of high school, technical college programs throughout the city of Houston and even across the state of Texas, and get to speak with students and instructors and kind of, gauge where the pains are and where's the industry headed. And one thing I will say, with the more recent push towards providing electric vehicle training in the classroom, is that obviously most of the programs are very welcoming of this new technology. They understand the importance of it and the fact that it's here to stay. And I think the biggest problem that we run into with our students is giving them the opportunity not only to work on the high voltage system safely or an electric vehicle safely, but also getting them to understand the basics of electrical. A lot of these students that you run into, they are very, very well equipped to use their hands, and they understand and pick up the mechanical processes of an internal combustion engine vehicle much faster. I like to say they like getting the grease underneath their fingernails. But sometimes when you put the electrical systems and try to teach them about Ohm's law and some of these electrical processes, they seem to fizzle out. And that's where you find a lot of the struggles amongst the student. Switch vehicles, obviously I've worked with them for quite a while now, and I love the hands-on capability. One of the hardest things to do is to get students hands-on with electrical. So having them in the classroom, along with your actual on vehicle processes, it just absolutely it more rapidly gets the student understanding and capable of what is going on inside these vehicles electrically. I'm sorry for rambling on. I do want to make one more point. And that point is that when it comes to even the upper echelon of students, I participate in a lot of skills competitions around the state. And you find that even in the upper echelon of these students, the ones that are competing at the regional, state, and even national levels of Skills USA, you find they're lacking the capability to properly diagnose electrical problems. And so I think that, in total, I think that is where the biggest concern is. And obviously, working with Switch, we aim to eliminate those problems and get these students properly working. Thanks, Brandon.
No, awesome. Thank you so much, Jack. That was perfect. That's exactly what we're looking for. As you can see from the graph, it's more than electric vehicle workforce. It's the manufacturing side, it's the sales side, the wholesale, transportation, who's repairing them, who's fixing them, who's developing them. Um, and you can transfer those skills into high voltage safety with like lineman work, solar panels, windmills. We really want to make sure that students are prepared to enter the workforce, be successful in the workforce, and jump off of our program at the end of it, whether they're a high school senior, whether they're a 2-year associate program or a 4-year university. We want to make sure that when they leave our pathway or program or projects, they are confident. A lot of the times we've heard from students, they say they didn't have anything to put on their resume yet because they're a high school student. But when they can say they've built a basic circuit, they can put a battery pack together, they can build a full vehicle, that gives them this huge advantage in the workforce and shows companies that the student is serious. They're ready to work, they're ready to contribute. And so we're trying to fill that gap in the workforce. A lot of times it's virtual AI, VR, AR, or it's lecture. And we want students to get their hands dirty. Like Jack said, they have to build something. And so moving on, you can see the vehicle on the left of the slide is the Switch Lab EV capstone. It comes in the lead acid version and the lithium version, along with electrical fundamentals and energy systems. So that middle left photo is students working on our relay lab kit, which teaches them the basics of circuits. How does a circuit work? How does electricity work? How does a relay work? How does a switch work? Why do we have fuses? What are they for? On the top right photo is batteries. We have students build a mini battery pack that's safe for the classroom. They don't have to have those class 0, 1,000-volt gloves because it's in a format that doesn't require it. And then with that, we also provide the teacher training and high voltage safety training. So a lot of teachers might not be comfortable with it. They might not even like the idea of having lithium batteries in their workshop space. And we understand that. But we want them to come into our pathway or our format and be able to teach it successfully. And so we force them to go through it. We don't force them, but we encourage them to go through a 5-day training session where they get familiar with it. They understand the dangers of it. They understand how to navigate those dangers. They understand how students might interact in the classroom. I would say one of the biggest takeaways teachers get from the workshop training is classroom management. How do you split up a group of 20 to 30 students in a way that ensures that no one's going to hurt themselves? CTE typically involves a lot of large equipment like a CNC machine or a lathe or a metal bender or tube bender. And we want to ensure that when they get to these projects, they're comfortable and they understand the dangers, but also understand how they can ensure students learn those dangers, can practice good safety skills like OSHA and ASE, and then those students leave with that knowledge and can walk into an auto shop and tell the owner, I know how to work on a high voltage system. I built a 110-volt switch lab EV. And so that's kind of what we're going for. And I would say one of the biggest impacts is having the owner and the lead designer in product development, Donovan Gruget. He couldn't join today. He's swamped preparing for an event next week in a training session. But our owner was an associate professor at a local community college and didn't have a repeatable way to teach students. A lot of auto shop programs have donor vehicles or the dean or teachers bring in their cars, hey, I need my brakes replaced. I need my light fixed. That's a good experience, but they're not building the vehicle from the ground up, and it's not repeatable. You can't ask your dean to bring in the vehicle every week. And so we at Switch found a process and a system and a vehicle that we developed to accomplish those goals and make it repeatable so that students every single year come in and get to do it over and over again and no one's left behind. There's no, oh, I have to buy something new this year. It's still there. They have it every single year. And then preparing the future workforce is part of that, which is the ASE certifications and OSHA certifications, making sure students either are prepared to take the ASE tests or take the tests in class and get those certifications. So when they go to community college, or they go from community college to university, or they go from university or college to an actual OEM or an organization that requires these, they have them in hand. They know the knowledge, they pass the test, they get additionally the technical skills. Like you can see that photo in the middle, those are 2 students who are troubleshooting the battery management system on our lithium ion Switch Lab EV. And those students get to work together and truly understand the backbone of what makes an electric vehicle move. And then, like I said, the resume building. They get to go on and put on their resume, I built a vehicle from the ground up and I got to drive it. I got to tune it. I did the throttle mapping. I did the regenerative braking. They have the deepest knowledge we believe possible as a high schooler or a college student leaving the program. And then on top of that is just professional skills. We've heard time and time again, especially since COVID ended, students are more and more distracted in the classroom, unengaged in the classroom, don't know how to talk to their fellow peers, aren't really interested in what they're doing. And so this project forces them to do those things that they may have not cared about. Like the left photo with communication, that was a student at Cherry Creek Innovation Center in Colorado. He is actively telling his students, or he's a student telling other students that, hey, the connection's wrong there. I was there for that photo. I took it and I told him to repose. But those skills, the soft skills, are so important. The teamwork, documentation, making sure these students are prepared to work in an environment that requires these. All auto shops require communication, teamwork, documentation. The invoice I get at a Costco has line by line the exact work the technician did, and we want to bring that into the classroom because that's what they're going to see. And so we're really passionate about this side of things. And then you go from what we're really passionate about is engaging the students, exciting your teachers, and promoting your school. We've also seen I would say a negative change in teachers being excited about a project or something they're teaching in class. And we've also seen deans and admins who don't know how to promote their program effectively. We give them a vehicle, like you can see on the right, that was Carano High School in Southern California. They've taken their vehicle to the Cinco de Mayo parade every year, and they're capped out on their enrollment. The teacher there, Bob Mauger, can't get more students in the room, which is it's kind of bad, but it's a good thing that students are coming to the automotive program. They understand the value of CTE, and so we're trying to provide a really high impact pathway project. Every project we want to truly impact students. We aren't really concerned about whether they get one of the projects or the full pathway. We're really invested in whatever they touch that is switch vehicles. That student leaves and talks about us, tells their employer, or uses it on their resume. And so that's really like kind of like the fundamental core proposition we have. And to kind of like wrap it up, you can kind of see here in these photos is we offer on the right side resources. So we give teachers the instructor training, high voltage safety equipment to the school and the classroom, curriculum if they would like to do a curriculum or build their own, customer support and warranty. And on the left, you can see the relay lab, the battery lab, the electric systems lab, and then the vehicle. And then the bottom left, we don't offer that, but that is what we want students to be prepared to do. So we have had a school in Wichita, Kansas, at Wichita State University. They are actually in the process of purchasing a kit car and a conversion kit to build their own electric vehicle, because the last 3 years they've done the first four. They've done the relay lab, they've done the battery lab, they've done the electric systems lab, they did the switch lab EV, and now we added this box because of them, because it's the doors open. You guys have your students have the skills. They've taken it for a semester or 2 semesters. Now let's put their knowledge to the test. Go build your own kit car, because the Switch Lab EV essentially is a lithium ion kit vehicle for classrooms. And so that really kind of flushes out the full knowledge. And if they don't succeed in that last box, I'm going to be calling them and asking them why. But we really want them to be prepared for the electrification of automotive. And then I hope this will work. This is Grand Lakes.
There is sound. We're not getting audio. Did you click the box in the share side?
But is it not playing the audio?
No, no audio.
What?
You clicked on the
Uh,
box?
and
You may have to stop the share and start it again. But yeah, there's an extra box you got to click that says include audio or something to that effect.
do you know where that why am I audio?
It only comes up after you share, so you may have to stop the share.
I'll stop the share real quick. Sorry about that, guys.
Yeah.
I didn't get the remote control. Do you know where it is in the settings?
When you click on share and you're in the page that shows you the
Let me stop sharing. Let me share
it
it
shows
again.
you your screens.
Share sound. Thank you.
Yeah, there it is.
Yep. All right, let me restart it.
What if a classroom didn't just teach the future, but built it? This is the Switch Lab PM96, built from the ground up by high school students. But this isn't just a car, it's a process. Over 5 months, students transformed a rolling chassis into a fully functional electric vehicle. They installed the batteries, built the electrical panels, wired high and low voltage components.
Cell, you can open that and it will show you.
From motor to headlights, from brakes to fenders, every piece, every connection, every detail, built by hand.
Voltage
Before the
and
build
voltage.
comes the foundation. Students start with technical knowledge, fundamentals of electricity, wiring, and vehicle safety. Then, hands-on practice, relay labs, miniature builds, real problem solving. Then comes the challenge. Build it, test it, tune it, and finally, drive it. This is more than a class. It's teamwork, problem solving, and real-world experience. It's discovering skills you didn't know you had and opening doors to careers you didn't know existed. Welcome to General Technology at GLHS. The future isn't waiting, it's being built right here.
And so you get,
Nice.
as you can see, like that is like truly what we're trying to do here. And that's what I am super passionate about, is giving students the chance to build something. I'm open to questions from anyone in the group. I know you guys are more on like the OEM consumer side, but I believe that the only way for there to be success on the consumer side is to prepare students to service, develop, and understand, test, tune, like that video showed at Grand Lakes. I think that's fundamental in expanding the electric vehicle side of automotive.
Well, thank you, Brandon. That's fantastic. It's great seeing all that happen with the students. So let's give Brandon a hand here. And we can start with Robert. You have a question?
Actually, I have two. Well, thank you for showing up and sharing this information with us.
Yeah.
First question, electric vehicles are going beyond just ground transportation. It's maritime and air applications. Do you have anything on the boards for applying it to electric ferries, electric aircraft? And the second question I have is, there's a group here at Rice University that's entering in a contest, a solar electric contest. Do you have like ambassadors going to different colleges and other groups that of do-it-yourselfers and science geeks? That's enough.
Yeah, so I'll answer your first question with maritime and aviation. We have no plans for that. We really kind of, our philosophy is we develop a platform, and our platform for electric vehicle or for electrical propulsion, electrical systems, electrification in general happens to be a three-wheeled vehicle. And so we think this is a really powerful platform where students can go into maritime, they can go into aviation, they can find those companies or even apply to them if they're passionate about it. We're trying to open the doors and get them excited. And we thought a three-wheeled vehicle or motorcycle or was a really, I would say it's better than a drone. A drone's really tiny. We don't want the liability of a boat being electrified. We didn't want to get into. And so we thought a vehicle would be a really good middle ground to get students excited to go into what you're talking about. And we really do believe that's where students are going to go after our program. We've had students go into solar panels. We've had students go into lineman work. We've had one student who went into electric forklifts. And so we're trying to just get their brains thinking. All right, I know these skills. I know high voltage safety. I know how a circuit works. I know how a low voltage and a high voltage system connects. Where can I go take that? And so we're kind of opening that door. And then the second one, Jack is our ambassador in Texas. So we have our partners in Texas. They go to schools and they talk to them, every educator, every principal, every dean or teacher about, hey, this is what we're offering. This is what we can give your students. Here's a video. Here's a flyer. But yes, we are boots on the ground, actively trying to let schools and educational institutions know about us, because the biggest part is the lack of knowledge or exposure we get, especially in some of the states that are slower to adopt. I'm from Indiana originally. I grew up in West Lafayette, Indiana. I went to Purdue University, and I would say I told my dad I was working for an electric vehicle company. He's like, "Oh, it's not going to be anything." And I proved him wrong. And we have 426 vehicles and counting around the country. And so I think it is more exposure. And my dad is now on my side. He's like my biggest supporter, and he like roots for me and he shares all my Facebook posts. But I agree. It really does require the boots on the grounds, knowledge and education and promotion of it. Because a lot of schools don't even know this is an option for them. They just think the physics teacher should teach everything about electricity, but they don't have the projects to do that in the physics class. Like the Relay Lab kit they showed in the video is a wonderful fundamentals of electricity project. And so I don't know if Jack has anything to add about that in Texas, but I agree. It is a challenge.
Yeah, Brandon, I wanted to interject real quick. So, first of all, that's really, really cool what Rice is doing. I will try to save my own grace a little bit. I am one man, and I try to make it around as much as humanly possible. Some days I find myself all the way out in Beaumont, Texas. But in the future, what I will do for the group, I know me and Brandon are brand new to this. We'll attach our emails down below. If you ever need support for any competitions or any events that you guys are hosting, feel free to reach out to us. We're always happy to help. Well, Brandon, not so much. He's out in California, but myself, I'll be happy to attend. I know I do quite a lot for Skills USA. And for those competitions, that's kind of my main bread and butter. But I'll go ahead and attach my email down below. If there's any events that that you guys hear wind of, or would like some more ambassadors or judges or whatever it may be, feel free to reach out. I'll be happy to help.
Yeah, we'd love to get you involved. I mentioned at the very beginning about the April Drive Electric Earth Month event where we have members bring their cars, and it'd be great to have some students out there because, of course, there's lots of young people that walk by on Discovery Green on that Saturday in April.
Well, yeah, and it would be great to have HCC and Spring Branch and HISD and all the. I mean, yeah, I'm glad to have your info.
Yes, the more cooperative events, the better.
Absolutely. I just attached it in the chat, so feel free to share it around for the people that are in person. But yeah, happy to help.
Okay. And speaking of the chat, Colin, do we have any questions in the chat? I can't see it at the moment.
I don't believe so.
That's Steph is talking about something else.
Okay. Maybe not at this
EV
moment.
technology evolves rapidly. How do you keep the curriculum current? So that is very true with the salt-based batteries, the solid state batteries coming out. I would say what Switch Vehicles is dedicated to is the basics. All batteries are a positive or negative. They have materials in them that create a current. And so we're really focused on making sure that students are fully aware and educated on those topics. Keeping it current, we don't want to, we've looked into getting into a higher voltage architecture. I'm still pushing for us to do a heavy duty high voltage product or program, but the more technology evolves, the more efficient and the more powerful it gets, which in a classroom might not be the right path to go down. My and our company at Switch are more focused on student outcomes, teacher success, and providing the highest level of education at the safest possible outcome. Our vehicle has a manual service disconnect. It has an emergency service disconnect button. It has an inertia switch. Our pack is split into two banks on purpose. It goes from 96 volts nominal down to 48 volts nominal. And at a max charge, if the pack is fully loaded, it's at 112, which is still under the OSHA high voltage safety if you split the pack in half. And so as the technology evolves, we're going to add to the curriculum salt-based batteries, solid state battery education, but to incorporate it into the vehicle, we don't it's the balance between CT and STEM. Do we want the student to go develop the next motor or battery for electric vehicles, or do we want the student to go into an auto shop or OEM dealership and repair vehicles? And so I would actually love to hear from the group here. How would you approach the new technology without degrading what we currently offer? Like, how do you cover the fundamentals without getting too deep or too niche in the industry?
Yeah, that's always a complex thing. And here, often I've mentioned to folks about changing chemistry and things like that. I think with your emphasis on the high school students, yeah, giving them the basics, because obviously folks here in this club, they've gone beyond that. They've been involved with their conversions and things like Ken Sheldon and John Atwood and others have done. So Kevin, you have a question or comment?
I have a bunch of them, and Dave, you're going to cut me off at some point. Brandon and Jack, thank you so much for coming. There's actually a component within the Electric Vehicle Association of folks that are extremely interested in this topic and have been working on it for a long time, and that is trying to encourage education for electric vehicles and the infrastructure. And so you guys are doing it. You're putting it together. You've put it together. You've got a good program. How big are you guys? People wise, how many people? How much? If you can share, what?
like our company?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, so we're a mom and pop company based out of Sebastopol, California. So we're about an hour north of San Francisco. And we're currently about 15 employees, and we had a big boom with ESSER funding. I don't know if anyone here is familiar with ESSER funding. That was the COVID saving education funds. And so we have downsized in the last about year, but we've also pivoted more towards career development, workforce readiness instead of STEM. So STEM was really promoted from 2010 to 2020, roughly. And then with the current administration, workforce development is the big thing, which allowed us to pivot, and we're looking to grow. And so, yeah, our company is about roughly 15, and we have a few part-times. We have some outside vendors like Jack with Toolkit Technologies. Toolkit Technologies offers top-of-the-line customer service to schools. They offer everything from advanced manufacturing, robotics, automotive. They really cover the gambit. I'll let Jack talk about that more if you have anything to add, Jack.
Yeah, absolutely. So, just a little rundown of who we are. So, Toolkit Technologies, we are a hands-on provider of career and technical education training to a wide variety of schools. Normally, I would say Texas, but we have recently expanded into the New Mexico, Oklahoma, Nebraska, Iowa, Michigan, and Ohio areas. And actually, I'm missing one, New England area as well. And so we're also a mom and pop shop. We started off very small with a real passion for expanding our career and technical education programs, starting in the state of Texas, and we've just done a good job ever since of sticking true to our North Star and our mission, and allowing us to expand. But similar to Switch, we're relatively small. I want to say we have in total about 12 to 15 people on the team, covering a wide variety of territories. I cover the entire Houston Metroplex and the surrounding areas. But that small size allows us to fly a little bit under the radar with some of the other companies.
Yeah.
And so most of our heavy lifting is done in the classroom. We pride ourselves on being at the forefront of it all, talking to the instructors, talking to students, talking to administrators, and then obviously working our way up to the industry.
And Jack, we'd love to have you and bring some of your students to our second Thursday of the month meetings. Would be great.
Absolutely. Will do.
Okay. And Frank,
And then Colin, real quick, would you guys like to see like our vehicle like being pre-built right now?
seeing it,
Like
Oh, you
it's
have
like
it on
halfway.
your
It's
boat.
I would say it's 90% done. We have a workshop this week. I'll stop. All right,
yeah, we have a picture of it.
stand up.
Oh, it's right there behind you.
Yeah, so we are currently doing a educator workshop, the 5-day workshop I said that we heavily encourage to educators. And so today they got the battery pack done. You can see there they did all the masking tape labeling so that the BMS and they know exactly where the taps are. And so that's what we're working on here. And then up front we have our electric systems lab, which is a full electric drivetrain on a table. So you have the two
Wow.
battery packs. It's all felt and Velcro. So if a student wanted to move, let's say they're not happy with this MSC, they're gonna rip it up. They can move it. They don't
All
like it.
right.
They don't
Yep.
like it there. And so we're trying to teach students. That's on the more automotive design side, where how would you put the battery pack in there? how would you as a student decide I want the motor, I want a rear wheel drive, I want an all wheel drive, or I want my battery pack all under the floor, or I want the rear. And so that's kind of what we're doing here. Yeah, I actually had to kick the workshop out a little bit early because I told them I needed to like do the
Oh,
meeting.
we always love seeing real hardware. So yeah, this
Yeah.
is great that you could show us that.
Yeah.
Very good.
All right, I'm done. I'm done chatting everyone's ears off.
So Frank, did you want to say
Oh,
something?
any questions?
Yeah, but I thought I saw your hand up a minute ago. No. Okay. Kevin, did you? He stepped out. Okay. All
But no,
right.
you can email me or Jack any questions. We love doing sit down meetings.
Okay. Another one here in the room.
I got a couple of questions.
What's up?
So what do you give the students? Like I assume you give them a frame with a chassis, with a suspension on it, and then they build it. And how long does it take the students to build it completely from what you give them to be able to drive? And then is it one class? Like, does the student get to see it from the beginning all the way to the end, or is it multiple classes?
So with our platform and the vehicle we provide, there are so many variables. Is this a 45-minute session? Is this a 3-hour lab class? Is this a full day CTE class? I would say for high school, on average, it's a 2-semester pathway or program, going through like the test bench, going through the relay lab, going through the battery lab, would be 2 semesters. And then for universities, typically about a month. But these are college students with a much higher level of understanding. And so it really depends on how the school approaches it. But we're really trying to provide them an adaptable and modifiable platform that they can use however they want. We've had some schools who do it in 4 weeks. We've had schools do it in 8 weeks, a semester, 2 semesters. We've had summer, we have a summer camp coming up in Utah with Inspire out of Utah University or Utah State University. I can't remember off the top of my head, but they're doing a application only 3-week summer camp where students apply in Utah and they get to come in and build our vehicle with the teachers there. And so it's really adaptable based on what the school wants to do with it. And we really understand that teachers need that flexibility. Teachers already have so many challenges to face in the classroom. And so by providing the most flexible and adaptable product, we can ensure that their sanity is kept. We want to make sure the teachers stay sane. And so that's the short and long of it. I hope I answered that question.
I love that idea of a summer camp. Yeah. Okay. So did you have another question? Okay. Back to Kevin. Did you have?
I still have time.
Yes.
All right. So, are you guys looking for investment?
You have my email. Yes. We can
Okay.
we can talk about it. I wouldn't say yes, but we are
Well, that goes
looking
for both you and Jack. So
Jack.
I'll email you
yeah.
guys on the side.
Yeah, emails on the side. But we do believe that what we're offering needs that publicity and that funding behind it because there is such a huge education right now is really being beat up, and we're trying to find more ways to improve our products, improve our curriculum, improve our projects that students build that make it as easy as possible. So I would definitely reach out to us, and we can have those conversations offline.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, I think you guys are right on the money, and it's about timing and execution, and
Yep.
you guys have the right idea, and it's going to be a successful thing. I'm sure. My dad, Jack, and you guys probably do it. I'll have to look and see how you guys do it. But my dad, when I was a little kid, he was an engineer, and he said, I think maybe after I had recalled that at the age of 2, I stuck a pencil in Europe. It's 220 volts, so you get a really nice flame out of the wall when you stick a pencil in it.
Yes, you do.
And so he proceeded to explain to me about electricity as a water hose, where voltage is the pressure of the water and amperage is the amount of water and resistance is the size of the hose. So,
I use a river. River is my example.
okay. Very good.
Rivers, which is the same as a hose. It's just a different way of explaining it. Because
That's right.
we have learned that it is really hard to explain electricity. Which is why our products are, I think, so effective in the classroom, as students get to physically or build these products with the different gauges of wires, get to use the voltmeter and really understand how electricity works, because it is kind of like magic. I would say when I was first hired, it all was like a magic, a magician. It felt foreign to me, but I'd always used electricity. We've all been experienced with electricity, but you never knew what makes it work. Why is it that way? Why is there a 110 volt? Why is there a 220 volt? And so I think really that is so important, especially with solar being larger with satellites. I wouldn't even say solar on the ground. I would say solar in our orbit is going to be the next big frontier, where students have to understand it. They really need to understand it.
Absolutely. I have a degree in technical education, and as an educator, the best part of education is you're transmitting a message to a receiver, and you're trying to get that receiver to actually for them to create the image in their head, to understand it and repeat it back to you. And you have to get into what their environment was, their background, how they see things. And so there's got to be more than one way of explaining it. And then all of a sudden you'll say it enough times and in enough different ways that the light bulb goes off. And that's probably the most rewarding thing I've had in my life.
Yep, I would agree. That's what gets me up in the morning. I love that light bulb moment for the student, for the instructor, for the program director at the CTE department, seeing them click, oh, I get what you're doing here. I get why this is important. I get the outcomes. Because what we do at Switch is we challenge students and educators to build something. It's one thing to understand it and be able to regurgitate a textbook. It's another thing to build what you know from that textbook and put it to work. And so I 100% agree.
Thanks a lot, and I'll thanks again, and I'm Kevin Douglas, and I'll reach out to you guys via
Yes, please.
email.
Yes.
Okay. Any other questions in the room? All right. Brandon, Jack, thank you very much.
Thank you so much. And then also, if you guys know any teachers or nonprofits or utility companies, one of our we would love the opportunity to talk to anyone about what we do. Right now, utility companies would probably be one of the biggest organizations outside ourselves that aren't state funded, government funded, that really help our programs get off the ground. We just had Duke Energy sponsor, I think they're up to 150 grand in the sponsorship to Southwestern Community College in North Carolina. And so if anyone in this group knows anyone, we would love the opportunity just to be able to give our case and show them what we do, or even help them find other companies or other options that they can use to get what they need.
All right. And you guys are welcome to stay on. We're going to start talking about the Aptera vehicle, if you're familiar with that three-wheel.
Oh, yeah. Yep. It's very similar to our car. Yep. Three-wheeled. Yep. So we love it. Yeah, I'll be here.
Okay. So Bill, if you could turn the lights on again, please. So we'll get Kevin and Frank anytime you want to chime in. So did you have?
Yeah, Brandon, if you'd stop the share.
Am I still sharing? It doesn't show him sharing on my screen.
Are you stop?
I just see my face. Can I stop sharing my face?
No, that's not. Yeah, that's not you.
Okay.
Well, yeah, I think I'm pretty, but I'm not that
All right. So
I think you're good.
pretty. All right, sweet.
okay.
All right.
Just so you know, we have a ringer. We have Robert here as well.
What is Robert? What's your background, Robert? You grab that mic back there so you can. Hey, Colin, while he's telling us about why he's a ringer, would you, in your Google search, type in what's the latest on the Aptera motors? Just Google search it. You can't do that? No, yes. I want this to be a little bit of an exercise.
You have to work.
Okay, I will.
So I'm ex-aerospace out at NASA. I'm retired now. I've been investing in Aptera for quite a while. I'm number 98.
Number 98. Nice. Good. What did you do at NASA? All right. Very good. So NASA, technology, the people that like this vehicle, including me, this is an exercise, as you guys have heard me say many times, it's an exercise in efficiency. It's like, how little energy can we use to propel one or two human beings and some cargo? Turns out a pretty good amount of cargo, because we're going to shape it like a airplane down the road. And so as everybody knows in here, because I've talked about it, we're going to do it in the following ways. One is we're going to shape the vehicle in a way that reduces aerodynamic drag as much as possible. Turns out that nature has figured this out in many ways. And underwater animals are really, really efficient. So the arch of the Aptera simulates a shark or a dolphin, and the way that the air comes around. Now, the difference is that when you're on the ground, the air doesn't flow around a car like it does around an airplane, because an airplane is in three-dimensional space. It does actually flow around it like when the airplane's on the ground. So the air gets kind of compressed underneath, and it flows over the top. And so we're going to make it as aerodynamic as possible. And by the way, the coefficient of drag of the Aptera is less than the two side mirrors on an F-150 pickup truck. So that's how efficient it's one of the most efficient, if not the most efficient, two-seater that's ever been made. Yeah, very good. And we're going to another drag, another energy use component is tires. Your tire, if you look at your tire, where's the camera? Can they see me? Good. If you look at the side of the tire, like this is the tire is doing this all the time. Wherever it's touching the ground, it's squeezing. That squeezing is wasteful. You're squeezing this piece of rubber. Do that with, remember the little hand exercise things? Do that 1,000,000 times, see if your hand doesn't get tired. So you're squeezing this tire. Well, if we can, instead of squeeze 4 tires, we can squeeze 3 tires. We just reduced our wheel drag. There's a word for it. What do they call that? Oh. Resistance, but there's a wheel tire resistance or something. Anyways, rolling resistance. Thank you, Bill. You can reduce it by 25%. And then we're going to make it electric, because the best efficiency you can get out of internal combustion, any thermal machine, is about 30%. The other 70% gets wasted. So and electric machines are 90 something percent. And so we're going to make it light. We're going to make it light because it takes energy to move mass. And so one way to make it light is stop building cars the way we did in 1925 with steel stamped and welded. Let's build it with new technology. So let's get something like a reinforced plastic with carbon and squeeze it in a mold thermally and pop out these very strong structures that are as light as aluminum, strong as steel. So we reduce the weight. And there you go. You get something that a Tesla will travel. Well, the way I drive my Tesla, it only goes 3 miles for every kilowatt hour. But your average EV, like Bill, drives his Leaf very efficiently, and he gets about 4.5 miles per kilowatt hour. The Aptera gets 10 miles per kilowatt hour, and it's actually going to do a little better. It's doing a little better than that in testing. So, things are being replaced by AI to include your boring presenter at the HEVA, because if you type what's the latest on Aptera Motors, it starts saying things like Aptera Motors NASDAQ SEV has achieved a major milestone by rolling its first 5 validation vehicles off the low volume assembly line in Carlsbad, California. These vehicles are undergoing critical testing and certification as the company builds out its supply chain for larger scale production. And then at the end says, and it has a whole bunch of stuff. And then it says, would you like to explore more about Aptera's solar technology? Or are you looking to track their funding and stock news? I've found this new cocaine. It's called AI. And I have 3 in my family that are in AI. And even they've been in the development of AI, and even they are amazed by this stuff. So, let's see, the latest on Aptera. They're still there. They, as AI said, they've they've finished their product validation line. What does that mean? They've built a production line that is representative of a high-speed production line or a larger volume production line. The difference is that some of the tooling is not volume production ready. In other words, if I'm going to stamp out 500,000 parts, I need a certain robustness to the tool. If I only make 12, I don't need a tool that's as robust. So that's where they have. But that's the vehicles that are coming off this line are production exemplary vehicles. They represent what a production vehicle is. And they're going to make 12 of them. They're going to do everything with these vehicles through testing to validate everything in the real world. So they're driving them around. They're validating the cooling systems. They're validating the consumption. They're validating the robustness of hinges and suspension parts and all that stuff. And they've been doing a lot of this through simulation and pre-production pieces of cars for quite some time. So they're gathering all this data, and they are still saying that if they can get the money for volume tooling, which is $60 million, is what they need, they're going to start delivering in by the end of this year. And maybe number 98 is going to get a vehicle in 26. 226, maybe I get mine in 27, beginning of 27, and you also. We'll see. I think they're going to get to, they want to get to 1,000 vehicles, and then they've got somewhere around 40,000, a little over 40,000, shy of 50,000 vehicles on order. They do have a line of credit of 65 million. They have 17 million in the bank. Their co-CEOs are very much engaged in pushing the company past this next goal of getting enough capital. They've been good at just through crowdfunding and many different ways suckering early investors. Getting guys like me and him to put money into them and have our initial investments diluted. It's okay. In the long run, we're doing our share of improving man. And what I mean is they did a reverse split, which means on the stock, which means that I had stock that was worth 20 something a share, and the stock is trading for $2 a share because they pulled a bunch of stock off the market because they're trying to get new investors to get in. So let's see. I really like the executive team of this company. That's something that really tells you how successful. This is not their first time around the patch. They actually started this company in the 2000s, and then they made the big mistake of bringing in some automotive experts that happened to come down from Detroit. I actually rode in the first electric Aptera with the CEO that came from Detroit back when we did one of these EV shows, back when Anise Parker was the mayor and we were having a lot of EV stuff, and drove the car back then. It was interesting, very much a prototype, but those guys decided to change everything about the whole ethos of efficiency, and they wanted to do different things like, oh, you got to roll the window down this way and so they brought all the old ideas from Detroit and bankrupted the company, fired the two guys, the co-founders, and the pieces were eventually bought, I think, by the Chinese, somebody in China, and then they didn't know what to do with it. They're like, there's nobody, we normally buy a Mercedes, take it all apart, copy every single bolt and gasket, and then we put it all together and label it China. But nobody's built one of these cars. We don't know what to do. So this tooling and everything sat there, and the Aptera name sat there, and Steve Fambro and Chris, what's his last name? Chris Anthony bought the company back. They got some investors, and they've done a much better job. Solar car, it's got enough solar that if you're in the greatest sun belt, which San Diego is part of, you can drive 40 miles a day on the normal drive cycle, the DOT average drive cycle, which really is not a normal drive cycle, but it is the one that everybody compares. That's where your gas mileage comes from, and so many miles of 55 miles an hour and so many miles at 30 miles an hour. So the car has solar. They, along the way, thought, we built this really efficient car. It does 10 miles a kilowatt hour. It's so efficient. We really don't need to put high-speed charging in it. And they got just
pummeled by the Aptera community saying, dude, I'm going to drive this car across America. And if you don't put high-speed charging in it, I'm going to go 400 miles or 600 miles or 1,000 miles. By the way, they're going to build a 600-mile version. The first one's going to have 40 kilowatt hours times 10 miles is 400 miles. Then they're going to have a 60 kilowatt hour pack. Then they're going to have a 100 kilowatt hour pack. And it'll go 1,000 miles on a charge. And they said, you know, I'm going to drive. And then I'm going to have to wait on a 120, even though the thing charges very quickly because it's very efficient. So you're going to get 10 miles of range, much, 3 times as fast on a 120 plug than you do for your other EV. But they very quickly came back and said, you know, we listened to you guys and we've been working on high-speed charging and we're putting it in the car. And that is one of the things that makes a good company, because they are really listening to the consumer. This is a niche vehicle. Once we start driving our cars around, people are going to see them in the neighborhood and they're going to go, man, what is that thing? And you're going to take them around and it's going to be zippy and fun and quiet and people are going to want them. So they really are listening to this first group of consumers. They pivot. The car is going to be right to work. The idea is right to work. You own this car and you get to work on it, and they're going to support you at it. None of this, oh, I'm sorry, you've got to take it to the dealer, because you can only replace that light bulb through the dealer. And so they're actually going to have YouTube videos and all kinds of support, so you can do anything you want to. They're going to, like Brandon said, they're going to tell you all about putting on gloves. If you're, what things you're going to do, you're going to need more training. And I'm sure there'll be a little statement that says, this will kill you if you don't do this, and we're not responsible. So hopefully somebody won't kill themselves, and they'll sue Aptera. And let's see, they just solved a court case with a company that had a similar sounding name. What was it called? Aptera. And Aptera had them in court, and they finally settled it, which is good, because for investors, they don't like uncertainty, and a startup that looks kind of funky is it looks beautiful to us that love airplanes and technology, efficiency, but to the public, my wife, she's excited about our Aptera because I'm excited about our Aptera, but she would not have gone and bought an Aptera. But we're going to actually do road trips in it, visit family and stuff. What else is Aptera? Oh, right to work. I love that. They're gonna let you tinker on your Aptera. They have a lot of intellectual property that I think is really the value. Tesla is not a car company. They're a technology company that happens to build cars. And so is Aptera. And so the material science in the vehicle, which is this reinforced plastic compressed. There's a BMW had a version of this reinforced plastic, but it was weaved. This stuff it has like they cut up the carbon fiber, stick it in plastic, and then they put it in a mold, and you can go see this on the website. They stamp out 3, what does it have? 6 parts? The body, 6 of them, and then the what do you call it? The skateboard, which in this case it's a 3-wheel skateboard, and it's not a 4-wheel skateboard, is aluminum and steel where it needs to be. So they've got the material science, which is intellectual property. They have the solar panels. The solar panels, they're selling to a couple of other companies.
What's the name of that little funky pickup truck that they've sold? Slate. I think it's Slate. But they're doing some stuff that they can't tell us about with the military, because these solar panels are very efficient, they're very thin, and they're flexible. They can actually be molded into these structures. They don't have to be flat. And so they have a lot of so that's their IP. They've done stuff with the cooling system. That'll be an interesting part of this vehicle. It's got a big windshield like all cars do. And I sure hope that when we're driving in Texas and Arizona, that the air conditioning is keeping up with the heat. And this company, if they will have it working. I remember, I don't know if you guys remember this, but they took NBC. Chris Anthony took NBC for a ride and the car overheated. Do you guys remember that on the drive? So anyways, that's your PR worst nightmare, but that's right. All of them are going to be white, and you can wrap it however, well, they've got their colors that they'll wrap it for you so that no paint shop. Well, thank you. Huge, absolutely huge expense and environment. So it's the cars, it's like my glider. Like the glider is the same material basically. Grab that microphone so they can hear online.
Yeah, so they patented those solar panels. They have them on the dollies that tow the planes around at a couple of the airports. They have them on I forget the name of the trailer, but it's a camp trailer that's got solar on it, and it's enough to completely power that, for a weekend and stuff. And then they're selling it to some others that we can't talk about. Well, if I know about it, they'll have to kill me. So
yeah, no, that's true. And that's okay. I'm hoping that all this stuff I don't know about is going to make us some money, in addition to having a cool car.
Yeah, me too.
So you guys just real quick, tell us your story of how you got interested in Aptera.
I found about it online about 2 months into their sign up for getting on the list. And part of the problem was that their initial plan was that they wanted to build about 10,000 cars, and they were going to do it with hand laid up fiberglass. And when they got 40,000 right off the bat in the first 6 months, they said, oh, we're going to have to redesign this. And that's when they went to the fiber reinforced plastic and the injection molded. I will say that those molds are $500,000 to $1 million a piece. Those are not for 1,000 units. Those are for 100,000 at least. Some of the other parts of their secondary suppliers, yes, they are in pre-production runs. So that's where they're at right now is what is it? Something like 98% of their parts that they're getting from various suppliers have pre-production samples, and the last 2% they're working on deals.
That's great.
Yeah, so I heard about it online somewhere in 2021, I think, and immediately went to the Discord group and then found out that they were I make a reservation, and then they opened it up for investing, the crowdfunding, and I've always been interested in those kind of things, so I can't wait to get mine.
Yeah. Let's see. Did we miss anything on the latest?
A little correction. It's not the coefficient of drag that is the size of two F-150. It's the total drag, which is the coefficient is the ratio of the frontal area over the total drag. So it's the total drag of the car is the same as two F-150 mirrors.
Very good.
They have been selling stock a little bit. The founders, in order to operate the company, they have the an extra deal where they can sell shares through another company. I think it's 50, 60 million, something like that. But they are using multiple methods to raise that last 60. This is the big thing was just getting to the point where they can pay for the first 10,000 cars to be built.
Yeah, I did one of those. I did one of those rounds. So let's see. Yes, that's right. SEV on the NASDAQ. You can buy their stock. It's public. Company's public.
So SEV used to be Sono Motors ticker symbol until they went bankrupt, and but I like SEV a lot better than the one they had originally picked when they said they were going to go. I can't remember what it was. I can't remember what their original ticker symbol was. So when Sono Motors went belly up and they got SEV, I was pleased.
Their original. I'm sorry. Yeah. Solar electric vehicles. Sonar Sono was a solar car.
Yep.
Yeah, their original ticker was so ugly that we can't remember what it was. I'm not a marketing guy or a PR guy, but I like to. I'm half Argentine, Scotch Irish, and half Spaniard. So, what else about Aptera? 40,000.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, safety. Extremely safe vehicle. It has they do, so many different things, but one of them is a roof crush test where they, if the car gets, I don't know, as a 18-wheeler rolls over on top of you, or you roll over and hit the ground. And because of this monocoque, the circular structure is much more, it has a steel reinforcement. Yeah, but basically it's a roll bar, but it's a passenger cell is what it's called. And so I think it's higher than anything out there.
If I can add to that, so technically it's classified as a motorcycle. So the safety standards aren't nearly as high as what Aptera is actually doing. They're building it to four-wheel vehicle standards so that it'll pass all those, although that's not required because it's classified as a motorcycle.
Yeah. No, it's a combination of we've learned we've learned so much with materials, and it's great to see companies that are using material science to improve products. So the vehicle it has been crash tested to the NHTSA standards for an automobile. I know one thing. This is not their last car. They occasionally put out this little the dream sheet. So they're going to make a four-wheeler, four-seater, and then they're going to make a van, which will either have 3 rows or it'll be delivery service van. It has the Tesla NACS outlet in the back. They were the first company actually to do a deal with Tesla for the charging network above the other OEMs. That's about it. You guys are gonna. I'm bullish about this company. I think they're going to make it. I think you guys think they're going to make it. And we're going to start seeing them. And like everything else, when you start seeing them, the niche market materializes. I think it'll materialize. There's more than one of us in this world that wants a high efficiency. It's a head turner. You know, you're definitely driving something that's people are gonna do. What's that? They did. Well, no, Elfie was the company. I'm sorry, Alafi, and they did they have thermal issues, or what was the issue with the?
They could probably get 5,000 to 10,000 out of that factory.
Ah,
Couldn't scale up.
they couldn't scale.
It's far, very far.
Czechoslovakia or Yugoslavia or no, it's not Ukraine. What's the name of that place up north? Anyway, Estonia, Latvia. Yeah. So they went to I remember that now. They went to a front wheel drive motor that we build 10 billion of those things a year because I mean, all you have to do is you have the transaxle and put an electric motor on it. So. The plastic part with the frame in order to hold them. And it weighs quite a bit more. And won't have the ability to do the fancy track control with the original system. That would be much more of a. Yeah, you still have differential. What do they call the differential? The box can still divvy up power to the wheels. You lose power in the joint and the mass, the rotating mass of all the axles now, and the mass of the larger motor itself. But it is the same motor that on the Honda EVA, the other EVs. Who else uses? Nobody is using.
Yeah, but who Ziddy?
No.
They don't.
Who? No. Lordstown. It was Lordstown. Rivian does the 3-motor thing like Tesla does. Hey, do you guys want to hear a funny EV kind of related story? So Deirdre and I traveled up to Kansas to meet. We already knew my son's getting married. Our son's getting married this year, so we got invited. Our future daughter-in-law was having a bridal shower, and so there was the girls were going to do their thing, and the guys were going to do their thing. So we got invited up there to Kansas City, and so Seth had this great idea, and I do it all the time. It's you go into the rental car company and you say dealer's choice. And since a lot of people don't like electric cars, that's what they got sitting around. And so you get an electric car quite often. So they give me a Hyundai Ioniq. Very nice car. And I pull out of there, and the girl was a little discombobulated when she was doing the thing at Avis. And pull out of there, and we're driving along, and as I get up over 20 miles an hour, I start hearing. And we had to go get some food and then go pick up my daughter who has a 6-month-old. So Deirdre is in. Is she watching? No. Deirdre's in mother hen mode, and she's like, we got to get to. I said, Deirdre, let me see what's wrong with this car. So I look down, and the front air dam plastic shield thing is hanging down. Somebody had driven it up to a parking spot and ripped it and pulled it loose, and it's hanging down. I said, I'm not driving this car for a whole weekend going, not to mention it's going to, as we go highway speeds, it'll rip off. And so I go, I'll drop you off. You and Elena eat the barbecue that we bought, and I'm going to go change cars. So I go back and I change. How much time do we have? So I can adjust my, how much time do we need after this? Are we the last act? Okay, so here we go. So I go back and I bring the car back. How's your rental? Well, not good, because I just brought this car, just took it out, and I'm bringing it back, and I need another car. Oh, okay, sorry about that. So I go into the preferred section because there's nobody there, and she's like, "What's your name?" Kevin Douglas. Yeah, I don't see any record of you renting a car. I go, really? About that time, my phone rings, and it's the girl that gave me the car. She gave me somebody else's car. She goes, Mr. Douglas, I'm so glad you answered the phone. Where are you? I said, I'm here over at the preferred. She says, you're here? I go, yeah. She says, oh my goodness, thank goodness you've saved my life. I gave you the wrong car. I said, well, lucky for you, you gave me the wrong car that I had to bring back because it needs to be fixed. She says, well, God must have been looking down on us and gave you a bad car so you could bring it back. This is the Avis lady telling me this stuff that so anyways, I'm like, okay. She says, let me get you another car. So she runs out the preferred and she looks, she says, I've got a Toyota Corolla Cross. Have you guys ever driven one of these things? It's a little crossover Toyota. It's a Corolla. It's the Corolla crossover. So not the RAV4. It's smaller. It's a little smaller. She says, it's brand new. It's got 31 miles on it. I said, you don't have any more electric cars? She goes, no. I said, fine, let's take that one. Well, I get to the car and I check it out. It is pretty new. It's got 231 miles on it, but that's just a small detail. But the car's beautiful. So it's a gas car. So I drive out and I pick Deirdre up, and I still haven't eaten my barbecue sandwich because, I've been doing all this stuff. So there's our daughter with the baby, and she's so cute. Anyways, so we are driving over to our Airbnb, and Deirdre says, let me drive so you can eat your sandwich. I said, okay. So we pull over and we switch places. She gets all adjusted and puts it in drive and drives out of the parking lot, and then she floors it, and for one potato, two potato, nothing happens, and then it goes wee wee, and with that much sound, you ought to be going like this, like she does in her Model 3, but we're just kind of doing this. And she goes, what am I doing wrong? And I said, nothing. It's a gas car. My little EV story. Oh my goodness. You will not go. Once you drive electric, you shouldn't go back, because the whole ownership experience is so much better. What else we got?
There was the FYI. I mean, you're off on detours, so I'll take you a little further. A Toyota is, I saw somewhere, is 17% an individual vehicle of making it to 200,000 miles. 70% of Toyotas, which is one of the highest manufacturers. Tesla is like the next one down. It's like 3 or 4 down, but it's like they're predicting now that it's going to be, it's much less. It's like 6.4, but it's still much higher than Mercedes, BMW. I mean, almost anybody else. Yeah. FYI.
Our oldest Toyota, our oldest Tesla just turned 172,000. So we're working on the 200. Yeah. Bill, yeah, you ought to grab the mic.
Yeah. So Kevin brought up the idea that we got an EV charge station here at the labs, and so there are I don't know how many geometry of plugins there are. how do you handle that though? Adapters, right? You don't want them to be stolen if they're a separate unit. So how would we handle that?
Yeah, Bill, I mean, we really only need a 50 amp outlet. The other EVs, so it's unfortunate because Tesla is the only EV I know of, unless somebody can correct me, that has this wonderful little EVSE with all these little pigtails. And you buy the kit and you can get a 14, 15, a 1430, a 1450. You can buy all of them, dryer outlet, 50 amp, and they all work on that EVSE.
I'm going to weigh in. My Chevy offers the same collection of pigtails. It's shipped with the 1450 and the standard 150 volt one. But I could buy the other ones.
So
they're just shitload expensive.
Okay. So other manufacturers have them too.
Well, Chevy
Adapt-
does. I'm not
adapter.
sure Hyundai and Hyundai, although Hyundai's EVSE can handle anyways, I think the first easiest thing we could do is have access to a 240 outlet, 240 50 amp outlet. If TXRX Labs is good with that. And then the thing they may not like is, well, who's going to pay for the electricity? And we'll have to talk about that. We can maybe have a little kitty. We could have a J1772 station installed. However, most of the cars are going to NACS. So there, we could maybe, one thing we might be able to do is somehow write Tesla and say, hey, would you guys like to put a what do you call their station? The
supercharger,
not the supercharger,
destination charger.
their destination
A
charger.
destination charger.
Yeah.
Destination charger. I mean,
let's-
I have an adapter for the destination charger because
Yeah.
when I first started doing cross countries, it was a lot easier to find hotels that had destination chargers than had level 2 CCS
Okay.
J1772s.
So who wants to reach out to Tesla for a destination charger? Do we have anybody that wants to try to do that? No, I'm trying to get somebody else to volunteer, but I mean, I'll work on it. I'd have to talk to TXRX Labs, and TXRX Labs says we are a nonprofit and we have all these folks that would love to do it, and you can advertise Tesla here at our TXRX. These guys would love hackerspace.
The expensive part is the wiring, though, isn't it?
Yeah, but this is TXRX Labs.
You gonna
Surely they
let
can-
Bill do this?
No, we don't want Bill to do this.
Yeah, yeah. They just got to have a good location, but yeah, they may give away destination chargers. I mean, I don't know.
Let's work on it. We're going to work on at least getting an outlet that's accessible. Yeah. Don't mention me. No, I should say this. You do whatever you think is best for us to actually get the thing done, because it would be great for this lab to have a EVSE accessible. Bill's going to work tomorrow on getting his 3 systems back up and running. And we have Bill's place back there. And anyways,
Somebody's got a Porsche Macan out there. Is that how you say it? Macan?
Macan.
yeah, Macan.
The electric one.
Macan.
Yeah.
Macan. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the electric portion, but yeah. All right. Well, good. So we're here this month and next month, Colin.
Yeah.
We'll find out for the fall if the students are back at Rice. And all right. I've not heard of, do they have charging there? Okay.
They do.
They do have charging there. Okay. Okay.
You got to know where to look.
And it would make sense. University
Yeah,
that
yeah.
big, as big as. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, even
sure.
better. All right. Because in the fall, there's the possibility we'll be back at Rice. We don't know yet, right?
Yeah. Let's see if they like us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we love their club. I mean, the students named it the REV, Rice EV Club. So yeah, that's really good. Yes.
Hey, Seth, are you still thinking about going to see these kids compete?
I don't know if my time is going to work for that, but I need to follow up on them because I offered them my trailer to get their car up there.
That's
It's
nice.
getting,
Yeah.
and
So
it's
for
getting close to time for that.
those that aren't familiar, the Rice EV Club students are going to be competing. So yeah, good.
Yeah, I mean, I canceled the big road trip that I was going to do that was going to interfere with that because the price of gas got outrageous, and
Yeah.
the old military vehicles are not exactly fuel efficient.
Understandable. Yep. Yep. So, okay. Anybody else online have comments? Things I'd like
Well,
to
I was going to make two comments. My first
Yes.
comment is I've been in Aptera since July of 21, so
Good.
I guess I've owned stock in there almost as long as Kevin.
Good.
And your cars were Pikers. My Cherokee's at 257,000,
Oh, wonderful.
and I'm about to take a 2,600-mile road trip in it. Towing.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Robert, comment? Yeah. There's the microphone.
Okay, we will talk about evangelization on July 18th at Ellington Field. There's going to be a fly-in for the Bronze Eagles. They're a group of private pilots that fly kids up in the air and do fly-ins and so forth. And I talked to some of the people there, and they're going to grant us a booth where we could sit. So I'll need a card table, a banner, and another partner in crime that can help me with it and just talk EVs and especially long road trips. And it's still a little ways away, but it's coming up soon. And so I just need
Okay,
another.
look, Kevin has got my table, and not Kevin, Colin, I'm looking at. Colin, you also have the club table skirt, right? The table and the table skirt?
Yeah.
For July 18th, Robert's talking about.
Yeah, let me give you my card.
Oh, great. That's you, Frank and Robert.
Hey, hey, Robert.
Yes, sir.
Loop me in on that. It looks like I'll be available July 18th.
Okay. Okay.
This is
We're gonna
set.
get your emails. I could give you mine right now.
Get it from Kevin or get my phone number from Kevin. He's got them.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll get you connected. Frank.
Yeah, get me. And I knew a few of the folks with the Bronze Eagles 20 years ago. I wonder if they're still
Okay.
involved.
Small world.
Yeah, it is.
Air Venture is that week, Kevin says.
Okay, and then it's going to be indoors, so we're not going to have to sweat out in the hot, humid air. So it's going to be air conditioned, and they put together little packages for the kids. And I'm going to slip some of our cards in there, some of our propaganda, and then with little toy cars and some ready stickers. So good chance to reach out to the young and the next generation of car buyers. Yeah, but we're not. We don't have a contrary message. So
No, but I'm just saying the bigger goal.
yeah, that's what they do. Yes, and it's the aviation's going electric too. So we could print out some articles of that and
yeah, it's
put
good,
that out there.
Good
So
event to reach out to the public.
yeah.
Right.
So, anyways, if anybody here needs my email address here, I can provide it, and
Okay. Yeah, you
I'll
can give
get
that
some other ones.
to Frank.
It's national. They have a Houston chapter, and so it's all about the kids and helping the kids get into the world of aviation. And so, all right, enough said, I guess.
Okay. And for some of the new faces in the room, we've got to sign up if you want to get announcements, if you're not already on our email
Let
list.
me introduce my friend here, Enrique Ruiz.
Enrique.
He just he's wants to be an airline pilot,
Fantastic.
and so I've been mentoring him, and I said, hey, you want to come to the Electric Car Club meeting? And he said, yeah.
And
So,
you might fly electric in the future.
yeah, I'll take him up in my glider.
Yeah.
Motor glider.
Yeah.
Still can that invitation's still up.
Yeah. Yeah. So anybody who's not getting it, you can sign up on the sheet. I saw Colin put it out there somewhere on the sign up sheet for emails. Perfect. Perfect. Any other comments from the room then? So great interchange with everybody here today in June 2026. So invite everybody to come for the July 2nd Thursday meeting. We'll be here also at TXRX. We appreciate them letting us use their space. And we'll see everybody next month. Thanks. Mhm.
Robert, thanks for the candy bars.
Yes, coming there.